Hello and welcome to another episode of the Radiant Achiever Show. Today I am excited to bring on Conni Ponturo. Conni has been in the health and wellness industry for over 21 years. Her mission is to empower people into more movement and a deeper love with their magnificent bodies. As a former dancer, her career ended with the diagnosis of osteoarthritis, and with all of that, her dreams ended. Or so she thought, I will add. Searching for another way to express herself, she became a massage therapist, an actor, but her love of movement and Pilates really shaped her career. Pilates spoke to my soul the way that dance did, and it still does after all these years. I'd like for you to join me in welcoming the radiant Conni Ponturo. So I am extremely excited for all of us to say a big hello to Conni Ponturo. Conni, welcome to the show today.
Oh, Christine, thank you so much. What a pleasure.
Listen, we've known each other for a few years and we've crossed paths here and there. And I knew at some point we would be sitting down, side by side here, having this conversation on what you are bringing to life. So I'm super excited. I absolutely see you as a radiant achiever. For those of you watching or listening, especially if you're watching, look at this woman's glow. She just has that connection. You're so aligned to who you are, what you're committed to bring into the world, what you're motivated and passionate about, and you are walking the walk and walking the talk. And so that, in my mind, is a big part of what makes you a radiant achiever and why I really was excited to have you here today.
I love that. And I love those words, radiant achiever. I know your book is and your message is that, but how beautiful are those two words together? Radiant achievers. It just makes you light up, even if you have no idea what you are. It's just so it really just radiates just joy to me. So I love
fantastic. Great. I love that feedback. Thank you. We'll all ask later in the show your definition of radiant achiever. So keep that in mind. I would love, and I always have start with the same question in that, what calling, Conni, are you pursuing that you would love to share, and why is this calling important to you?
Oh, such a great question. So personally for me, I have been in the health and wellness, working with people's bodies for over 21 years. And it is the talk that we say to ourselves. And it is the combination of, if we talked the way we do to ourselves, to our friends, we would not have any friends. So it's really changing the conversation we have with ourselves. So I am compelled, it is my mission. I can't say it enough. It is my mission to stop us from using words that are not empowering about ourselves. I'm old, I'm fat, I'm stupid, I can't do it. I can't, all the things that we say to ourselves. So I'm really committed to changing that for both men and women. We both do it. The women, really tend to do it on their bodies and on their faces, especially as they get older. And, we can't change getting older, right? I mean, there's nothing to do about that, but boy, can you change how you feel about it. So I'm really committed to changing the way people think about aging and about how they see their bodies and how they love themselves as they get older.
Wow. The time has come for you and more women like you and men to really help be those leaders to help us stop, because I so stand with you. I so get it. We have created so much angst for ourselves because of the things we say. And I think most of the time people don't even realize the extent of the impact, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, it's meant to, obviously people are going to say it's in the media. Okay, yeah, that's true. You don't have to believe everything you read, but it is in our, especially in women, it's joked about. It's ha ha ha, look at me, I have such a big butt. And I'm like, no, it's not okay anymore. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's unnecessary. And it goes into our tissue. Here's what I want to say to everybody. It goes into your fibers of who you are, and then the issue gets into your tissue. And I say that to people all the time, that, you know, people just don't even think about it, just kind of, you know, flick it off. Oh, it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it does. It does. That is very powerful. And I'm going to say that I was like that too. I mean, I have a 24-year-old daughter she's like, Mom, what did you just say? And so she calls me on my stuff.
Good. Yeah.
But so we all do it, but it's time. The time has come for us to stop doing it and just to really honor and value our one body that we get and to really cherish it.
I love that. Okay. So I feel your passion. I see where you're at now in really bringing what I see is a movement forward. But I want to pause for a second and go back, and because I love also hearing the progression. I know you've said you've been in the health and wellness and fitness industry for many years. Has this current passion been something that's evolved, or was there something significant that happened in your life, or how did this next, this piece of it right now come to life?
Yeah, I think it's from hearing it year in and year out, year in and year out. And that's really how the subtitle for my book, Watch What You Say, Your Body is Listening, really came about. I've written about it for years. And because my clientele is really 50 plus, it is very, you really hear it. It's because I'm old. Yeah. I can't do that because I'm old. And so it's like, stop it, because if you believe it to be true, guess what? It's true. It's Absolutely. Your truth. So that Absolutely. Truth is, our truth is only a thought that we have, and you can change a thought in any moment. Yeah. And especially in this last year and a half, right? Haven't we all learned incredible things? I mean, I was not good on Zoom. I never used Zoom. I didn't record daily videos. There were so many things I didn't do before, but I knew I had to. And it was vital to me in order to maintain my business. So I said, you know what? I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn whatever I need to do. And that is true of everything. Everything is a learnable skill. If you want to learn it and you have the desire, you can do it. It has nothing to do with age. We've seen neuroplasticity in our brain. Our brains can change. Our bodies can change. Our muscles and our minds are the same thing. What do you have to do? You have to use weights. You have to do the same thing with your mind. You have to keep it active. Right. So, those are,
I love it.
Really important.
I love it. Well, so it sounds like you just kind of got tired of hearing the same story over and over. And you're like, wait a minute, this has to change, and I've got to do something about this.
Yeah, because it was stopping people from doing things. I mean, I would give someone, I'll go basically just into the studio. I have a Pilates studio, and people say, oh, I can't do that. I don't think I could do that. And I stop. First of all, as an instructor, as a teacher, I would never give a client something that they would totally fail at. Right. There's no point. There's no success in that. Right. So I would always know, maybe we're pushing somebody a little bit, but I would never put anyone in that situation. So it's your brain, right? So it's the negative wiring. We're all wired for the negative bias. That's what we see, the bad more than the good stuff that's going on. So we can't help that. But it's when you say, I don't think I can do that, that you stop yourself from even attempting something new.
Yeah. Trust me, I've done that. Yeah.
We've all done it. Gosh, myself included. So it's just saying, let's override that. Let's override that. I have a sign I should have brought over here. It says, I can do hard things. And so when people say, this is hard, I'm like, what does that wall say? I can do hard things. Yeah. Right. And when you know that you can do that, all of a sudden the challenge is like, oh yeah, this might be a challenge, but I am up to that challenge.
Right. Oh, I love it. I love it. And you touched real briefly on your book. Congratulations.
Thank you.
just recently publishing your book. It came out the end of August. I
Yes.
know because I watched you on launch day. It hit the bestseller list, and I have my copy. I've yet to start it, but I'm so committed myself, and see the power and see the difference it's made in my life to be so conscious and choose so carefully the words I say. And so I commend you for being one of those people on the front lines to help people become aware of the limiting conversation that they are having about themselves.
And it's just in the most basic way. It's the minute you wake up and you say, oh my gosh, I look fabulous. I like what I'm seeing. All of a sudden you light up, and then you go out into the world and you get to light someone else up.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. It's a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect. And we don't realize the power, not just for ourselves, but then the person and people that we're impacting or interacting with. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it's about then you get to have more fun. So it's just the basics that we do, that we think about. Those are our beliefs. We keep, it's like, it's true, but it doesn't have to be true. It is only a belief, and a belief is a story that you've chosen to take on yourself. Maybe you heard it in childhood. Maybe you've heard it from other people. Maybe you've heard it from that monkey mind that we all have. And it just does not have to be true. And you can change that. You can override and tell yourself a story, right?
Yes,
it's about
totally.
the stories that we tell ourselves. And so I always say, let's tell a better story.
I love it. I love it. So necessary, again, and needed at this point.
Yeah.
So I would love to go back a little bit, because I obviously see, feel, hear your passion. You've been in this industry a long time. Would you say your career has been a calling for you, or if there was a point in your life when you really got connected to the path that you're on now? I'd love to hear and have you share how that came to you.
Absolutely. So I was originally a dancer, got injured. I couldn't be a dancer anymore. I became a massage therapist and worked with dancers. And then I was an actor for a bit and just was kind of searching. Got married, had 2 fantastic kids, have a fabulous husband. But I was feeling like I had wanted kids and didn't have children till later in life. And I felt that there was something else for me. I just didn't know what it was. And it was my husband who said, there's this Pilates thing. And I'm telling you, it sounds like your massage, your movement, your dancing, all in one. And I think you should check it out. And so I did. I found a phenomenal teacher in Beverly Hills, Maria Leone of Bodyline Fitness. And she became I trained with her. She became my mentor. I worked for her. And the minute I found that, I knew I had found home.
Wow.
It was the aha. It's, as a young dancer, that's what I thought I would do. But, the world shifts you and we go like, oh no, that didn't work out. But I always say it's a shift, and you have a toolbox now that is even richer with all different skill set you have. And the minute I found Pilates, I call it transformational movement because it does transform who you are. The minute I found that, I knew I had found home.
Wow. That's a powerful story.
Yeah.
That's and kudos to you for being open and for sensing that there was something else, and then being open to have other, suggestions come from other places, and then for you to feel, because that's the kicker, I think, is when you feel it. It's not like, oh, did I make a right decision or not? You just know in your body, and it's that feeling of home. So
yeah. And I have to say, all these years later, I probably love it even more.
Wow.
And in this last year and a half, when I didn't have a studio and I was by myself in my studio, I found my connection again to mat class, to movement. I mean, the 3 things I tell people as they age, most important things are flexibility, mobility, and strength. And so I found that, and I found almost a new way of moving people online. I started working with, people used to have to be physically in the studio, and now they don't anymore. And so I can see movement almost even better on Zoom.
Huh. That is
Because
fascinating.
it almost makes you have blinders on.
Yeah,
and
okay.
funnels you down. You know, when I was a kid, I had a superpower, though I had no idea. I thought everybody could do this. And as a kid, I saw people's movement patterns. I would see, oh, that person's limping over there. That comes from their hip. Oh, that person's doing this. Oh, that person can't lift. Oh, that person's not sitting. I could always see, as a young girl, I just knew there was a movement issue and there was a way to change it. And that
Interesting.
served me very, very well, you know, all these
I
years
can
later.
imagine. I can imagine. Wow. I love it. I love it. Love it. So, I mean, it sounds kind of like a dream come true for you. What types of obstacles did you face as you, shifted into that new calling, to that new way to express what you were feeling called to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the obstacle is always what the obstacle is, which is some people aren't going to like it. Some people aren't going to like what you have to say, and you have to pick and choose the people you want to work with. And I'm not for everybody, which is why there are so many movement teachers, why there's so many, you know, Pilates teachers or yoga teachers or all these different, because you're not going to be for everyone. And so that's fine. There's more than enough human beings on this planet that the people that are going to work with me, the people that are in chronic pain, that are willing to change their story, that are willing to move differently, are going to do that. And the ones who are like, oh my God, she's like way too positive. I hate her story. She's annoying me. She makes me
she's pushing me. Yeah.
She's pushing me. You know, they're going to move on to do something else, and that's fine.
Right.
And so, you know, in life, right? Not everyone likes you. And so I think, you know, the easier you are with that, and the more gentle you are with yourself, the better off you are. I mean, I always tell new teachers or people, you never know when you're meeting someone, whether you're meeting them on Zoom or they're coming in or wherever you meet, what happened 3 minutes before you meet them. And somebody who might be the crankiest, you're like, wow, they're not really nice. You don't know. They might have got the worst news of their life. So kindness has to really be there. And you know, some people open up easily, and other people are very standoffish, and it takes you a long time. So I don't know. I kind of try to be, the one grace that getting older has given me is the wisdom to realize kindness rules.
Oh, I love that.
Over everything. So I try to judge people and try to, you know, keep that as much at bay as I can. And I try to be like, oh, this is who I am. I feel very strong and very committed in who I am. And, you know, some people
I love it. No, I love it. And well, what you are speaking to right now is a message for all entrepreneurs, which I love. I love that you're bringing up this point, because I know it's been my journey too, where we want to help everybody. And as you're getting your grounding and really figuring out who that person or the type of person you want to work with is, to be okay, you know, being yourself, owning the vision, the message, and the methodology even that you're bringing, knowing it isn't going to be for everybody. So seeing you and your example, and just the conviction of, hey, I'm owning that I'm not for everybody, and yet you know what you do is transformational for people, and you stand in that message. So I love it. Great example for everybody. So I'd love to hear a bit about how you personally have shifted in your life since really, you know, answering your calling in different and bigger ways. Who's Conni today that maybe you weren't, you know, several years ago?
Oh, wow. So first of all, a writer. I mean, I never really thought that I was going to be a writer and written. I mean, this is my fourth book. This is my second.
I didn't realize that.
You know, couple with Marsh.
Marsh, yes.
Three of her books. But so definitely a writer, speaking on stages, just moving around, speaking on stages. And last year, I probably spoke on more stages than I ever have because of the power of Zoom and connecting with people, and did more podcasts than I ever do. So taking that and then changing my again, it used to be like you could only come into the studio and work out. And now with the virtual Pilates world exploded, I don't think that will ever change. There will be, and then there will be in person. So, and then creating my membership site, I never thought I would.
Wow.
Something that I had always wanted to do. I didn't know how, I didn't have the time. I didn't have all the stories.
Right.
And luckily I had the wherewithal day one. And day one of my Zoom stuff was not pretty. I had a $300 computer. I had no lights. I had who knew? I was like, the one thing I did know is I said, it can't hurt. I pushed record and I recorded everything.
I love it.
And, my clients were so, they were so happy to be moving. They didn't care. Oh, and I was freezing all the time. It was like, it was bad. And I look back and I laugh and I'm like, but I was so happy to be doing it. And I realized that I love being on camera. I love teaching this way. I like to make it fun. I'm always like, it's not brain surgery, it's Pilates.
Right.
You're working out. You want to make your body feel better. But again, you don't have to slit a wrist to do it. Let's everybody just lighten up. There's enough heaviness out there. This does not have to be one of them.
Right.
And so to bring back the fun, to bring back the joy, to bring back the, loving your body wherever you are and just being in that truth. I never thought all of those things would come together the way they did. Even 2 years.
Even 2 years ago, sure. Wow. You have, it's funny. Tell me if you feel this way for yourself, because I know I feel this way, is there's this incubation period, that gestation period that comes out. We have all these dreams and desires and ideas and we put them out there. And I know some things I've planted years ago have just happened in this last year and all of that. So have you, this just popped into my head, is this your mindset? I feel like you obviously have a very empowered mindset. This, like you already said it, you can do, that can do attitude. But when you had previously planted all those seeds, did you kind of let them go, or did you stay connected to them? Or I don't see you as a person that kind of worried about if and when something was going to come true.
No, I mean, I wanted to do them. I just didn't know how.
Okay.
So it's not that I wasn't, I was like, well, that's a great idea. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that. But see, here's the great thing. You don't have to know. You don't have to know, but you will find the right people to help you. So I don't have to be a whiz at automation, because I have an incredible person behind the scenes who helps me do all that stuff.
Right.
And she's brilliant. And she helped me realize, 10 days, we shut down March 16th. She was the first person I connected with, and we had been working on something. And I said, okay, let's get me up and running. And within 10 days, I had a virtual Pilates studio. I was sending out daily workouts to all my clients.
I remember when you launched that.
So that was 10 days. I had no idea what to do.
Wow.
But, I told her, I said, you know what? I'm a little slow because I'm behind the 8 ball. I did not grow up with computers. I was never computer savvy. I was always like, oh, I'm a creative. And that's another thing. I'll go back. That's another thing. For years in my life, I was like, oh, I don't need to learn that because I'm a creative, blah, blah, that's business. And it's like, no. You do need to know all that. And it was my father. My father at the time was 90, in his 90s.
Okay.
And I don't think I did email. We're talking about 15 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. I had an assistant who did that stuff for me.
Okay.
So I didn't really, and he was like, you know what, if I can do it, you can do it. And I realized, wow, he's right. He's right. So, boy, have things changed? Yeah. Of course, you couldn't imagine anyone who didn't do email. You're like, what? It's like saying, I don't use a phone. What? How could that be? But that's how quickly things change and how quickly your mindset can change and you can adapt to things. So I think there are plenty of things. I just didn't know how I was going to do them.
Got it.
It was like a wish. That would be a good wish. I just don't know how to get it. So, but I
love it.
believe those little seeds, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm a gardener, so I love that.
Okay.
You're not looking at the seed going, oh, you're not a tomato yet?
Yeah, right.
What's your problem? You know, you just like let it go. And it's
Right.
the same thing with all of our desires. Just plant
Right.
them, just think about them. Because
Got
if it wasn't in your, if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't even come into your brain.
Exactly. I say that all the time, Connie,
Right?
for
You
sure.
wouldn't, it
Yeah.
wouldn't even be in your, because
Yeah.
I always say they're like all here. The ideas,
Yeah.
the books, the
Yeah.
stories, the businesses, they're always there. And someone is going to go, oh, wow, that's for me. And you're going to catch that like a star beam,
Light beam or something?
light beam,
Light
something
beam
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're going to find that, and it's going to be
Right.
for you. And if it's not for you, it's just going to
Yeah.
go right by.
Like, hey, like everyone's getting a motivational speech right now. Like this is Connie wisdom at its finest, people. I hope you're like picking up what she's putting down. I love it. That is amazing, Connie. Seriously, just you hit so many amazing nuggets in what you just shared that I think this is something for people to take notes on. Go back and take notes, because I'm motivated. Like I get pumped up by interacting with people that are lit up about, you know, really the power we have to create our life is really what you're talking about, and the things we say impacts that. So you talked a lot about how you've shifted, how you've grown, and again, it sounds like you've kind of had this I can do attitude for a long time. And as a result of that, all these different aspects of your business that have really blossomed over this last year and a half, 2 years, which is so beautiful to see all the bouquet that you've now created with your book, with your membership program, with, I know all the videos that you've done, the tech, the automation you have, and wow, that's awesome. So you talked a little bit about a superpower you had to see people's movement patterns. I would love for you to kind of take it inward and say, you know, what would you say is one of your inner powers or your superpowers that's supported you in creating the business, the life, the joy, the fulfillment that you now have?
I think it's always been my ability to see the best in every situation. I mean, you know, I am that person, you know, I could be going down on the Titanic and I'd be saying, but it's like a really beautiful day. You know, I just have that ability. But in that, there's a tenacity, right? And a, you know, a little maybe people pleasing at times, reeled that back over the years. But I mean, there's the ability to see, you know, sometimes we're going to get in situations that are not the best. And how are you going to, what's your view of it going to be? What are you going to, how are you going to describe it? And sometimes just by saying, this is the most awful, most horrible, most terrible, most, and even in the worst situations, there's an opportunity to see it differently. There's always an opportunity for joy. There is always an opportunity to feel better. There's always an opportunity, again, even in the darkest of times. And so I say that because that has really covered my life. Even when I had to stop dancing, and I really, truly, I was, you know, in my 20s, early 20s, and I thought my life was over for everything that I thought it would be. And it took me a while to find my zest again for who I was and what I was going to do. And so sometimes we have those times, and I just tell people, keep breathing and taking one foot in front of the other. It is really about that. And just know that life is what you make of it. Whatever you see in your life, it is because of your doing, whether it's the best of the best or the worst of the worst. And I that has served me because I work with a lot of people in chronic pain.
Got it. Okay.
Been in pain for years and years and years. And it's truly, after they've seen the doctors and done all of that, obviously I'm not a doctor. I never say I am one, but after they've done that, I always say, are you ready to change your story? Are you ready to write something new? And then it's the steps that we need to take to move your body and support it in a different way. and to feel differently and to let go of that story. And that's a hard one.
It's so hard for, oh, yes.
Because, when
Yes.
you're in pain, you want to tell people about it. Did you hear about my pain? I have back pain. I can't do it because I've got back pain. Did I tell you I'm in pain? Oh, that hurts my back. You know what I mean? So and so whatever it is, that's very deeply ingrained in us. And it's a hard one to let go of. But slowly, again, I always say nothing happened overnight. You don't lose weight overnight. You don't change your story overnight. You don't get better overnight. Allow yourself to kind of be present with what is.
Yes.
And if it's crappy, say, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Slowly, you can come out of it.
Right. Wow. Well, and again, it sounds like everything that you went through with the what happened as a dancer and the ending of that career, and where you could have let that be just, oh, my life is over, type of thing. You didn't let that stop you. So all of that inner power of just knowing there's something more, or yes, it's bad now, but I'm open to see what comes out of this, and dealing with things with a positive frame of mind. That's totally, I can see how that's been a thread in your whole life and journey. So that's powerful stuff. So let's dive into that question we talked about at the beginning. What does being a radiant achiever mean to you?
I love that word. I said that earlier, but to be radiant is really to be very strongly in your body and present to all of the good things that are coming out of you and that you have to share with the world. And just to be in a place of total gratitude, total joy. And as I said, being present with who you are and being comfortable in this body and what you have to share in the world.
I love it. And you are, again, one of those people that you are so in your body and connected to it. And because of that, I know that's how you can help other people too, right? And what that feels like in the shift. So fantastic. So I know there's, some of the viewers or listeners out there might be on the fence of following that calling, of stepping into that next version. What wisdom would you have for them, Conni, to help them move forward?
I think the most important thing is to just know that you are absolutely, positively enough. You don't have to be any different. You don't have to be better. You don't have to be smarter. You don't have to be more beautiful. You don't have to be any different, because who you are right now is who you are meant to be. But you have to really step into that fully and be okay with that. And just the feeling of I am enough makes you realize, because we're always trying to be better. I've got to be better. I've got to be stronger. I've got to get my muscles stronger. And I've got, everyone's like, I'm like, whoa, everyone take a step back. And that was me in the beginning, when I was like so eager to learn bodies and my teacher would go, hey, Tiger, just calm down a little bit. I was like, okay. So you mean I can calm down? I can sit back and rest back as who I truly am. Which
I love it.
Absolutely perfect. Right.
I'm going to sit back and rest. Right? Yes.
And it's hard, right? Because the computer pulls you in. So
it does. Yeah.
Everybody wants to achieve. I mean, here you have radiant achiever, but everybody, I want to achieve. I want to make more money. I want to do more things.
Right.
We have that. There's a little bit of franticness in that. And so just to rest back, I teach meditation. I teach yoga nidra, which is a sleep, do it lying down.
Love it.
And it allows you to you come out of the meditation and you're just like, I'm here. And that's, I think, for anyone wanting to step into that next step, if they can rest back and breathe into the feeling of what that next step is and live in that feeling. And that might be, it might be swirly. I tell people, but that's energy, right? Energy constantly moving around us, in us, outside of us. And so if you can lean back and sit back and just go, okay, I'm going to release into that because I know I am enough. It allows you, gives
Yes.
you enough momentum to take that step.
Totally. I love.
Easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's never easy, that next step. You're always afraid. And if you're not somewhat afraid, you know, what do they say? Your dream's not big enough.
Big enough. Right. Exactly. I love it. So that presence, kind of leaning back, and you speak to something that was definitely a big part of who I used to be, which was that frenzy. And when we want something, I think we can just like try and grip it so tightly, we're squeezing the life out of it. And so what comes up for me as I hear you is like, open your hands, open your heart, really just sit back, and it will well up in you. And that's one of my favorite practices now is not try to have it all figured out, but just let the, whatever, it's the intuition, it's inner guidance, it's support from the universe, well up, where I get the next step, and then I get the next step, and I get the next step, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of momentum and things just flow. So
and that's consciousness. Honestly, that's what consciousness is.
Yes, definitely.
You can't squeeze it, get it.
Right.
You have to allow it.
So
allow
be present.
Yeah.
And allow. I love it. Sound advice. So as we wrap up, and this was so fun and fantastic, which I knew it would be, I want to make sure that people know how to find you. I know you've launched this beautiful book, which, it's funny, I thought that was a cool picture. That was a Zoom feature. It's actually your book. So I'm like, how did you do that? All I can do is my name on Zoom. So you've got this beautiful book. You've got all kinds of, and I know you have some free resources too. So how can people find you, and what would you like to let them know about?
Absolutelygrounded.com is my website. There's a lot of free content out on that site, but I send out daily workouts to your phone, and they're 3 to 5 minutes, really short and sweet. And that is by going to go to the number 26786 and text the word self-care. And then you get my daily workouts and stuff like that. And then on YouTube, Absolutely Grounded is my site. I have over 150 videos, again, short videos. And I love props. So I work with a foam roller, resistance band, weights. You know, in the beginning, we were working out with bottles of water because you couldn't get anywhere. So there's all that kind of stuff. That's all free. And then my book, Listen, Watch What You Say, Your Body is Listening, on Amazon.
Love it, Connie. You're up to so many great things. And I remember we had a conversation shortly after you got all the tech stuff figured out, and you shared that story with me. And I, we both had a big smile over it, and just like, okay, you did it. Like, and how many things are we not gonna know how to do? That's just the nature of doing something new, but yet we figure it out. And I think that's one of the things.
An ease to that, right?
Yes.
And that's, and everybody gets to that point if they allow themselves to rest back as being, and I always say, I love being a beginner. My kids are so savvy with the phone and computer. I'm always like, can you show me this? And like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa, could you slow that down? And I've got my notes. Mom, she's like, my daughter, Mom, write this down. Da, 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 da. It's slow. Because after having absolutely no computer, I finally got lights and cameras and a better computer.
Right.
So I love being a beginner. So I tell people to go in that knowledge, embrace being a beginner's mind, right? Beginner's mind, all of a sudden you do things easily, and you didn't even know what you were doing.
Right.
And so be a beginner. Don't be afraid of that, especially as you get older. People will come to help you. And the most important thing is ask for help. You don't ask for help.
Yeah, I agree.
I started to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I think it's ingrained in us, right? You don't want to.
Be a self-starter,
Yeah, exactly. No, ask for help. Ask away.
Yeah.
I'm always like, do you know anybody that can help me? Gosh, I don't. Do you know anybody? Can you? And the minute you ask, all of a sudden everyone's so helpful. People want to help you. People want to help you in your career. So that's another great thing. If you're in a career and you want to make a change, go see who in your life is doing what you want to do, and go try to contact them.
Yeah.
Because
I agree. People are definitely even more so. I've seen
yes,
just genuinely caring. Like we all have to rise up together and make
yeah,
sure we're,
yeah,
thriving and vibrant and getting our
that's it.
needs, answers taken care of and needs met and all of that. So
Yeah.
Connie, once again, super fun. I so enjoyed this. I know there've been so many nuggets of wisdom that you dropped and rolled out today for everybody who's watching and listening. And I so appreciate you being here, your work, and our friendship. I want to make sure I include that in the end. And I look forward to seeing you in person again real soon.
I know. Thank you for your work, your show, and your beautiful book. And
Oh, thank
mostly
you.
for having me on and having fun in our conversation.
Yes, you are so welcome. So welcome. We'll do it again.
Okay.
Bye for now. Thank you, everybody, for being here.